Welcome to Just Ask Freeman TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Freeman Owen Jr. He's the CEO of Financial Sources Incorporated, better often known as Just Ask Freeman.
Here we are. Once again, Cindy, it's a real pleasure to be here this morning. And
Absolutely.
I tell you, we've got a lot to cover today.
We do. But first, let me ask you, how has life been for you, Freeman? I know that obviously things have been really busy since the shows began for you. So let's talk a little bit about how you're seeing clients now and just what business looks like for you, if you will.
Okay. Folks say, well, business is great. I'll say business is awesome.
Yeah.
During the COVID crisis here, more and more people tune into our show. I've seen it spread out of the Washington metropolitan area into other states.
Okay.
I love it. And we've been able to convert in-person consultations to virtual. And we have developed a proficiency on serving our clients. And it's a wonderful thing when they say, I heard the new clients say things like, I trust you. You know, at trustworthiness. Bringing forth 35, 40 years of quality service. Quality is so important. People like to be, when it comes to the retirement, and in this crisis now, it's really critical. And I mentioned in other shows, I've heard the angst or the anxiety in when they call in.
Sure.
By the time we're finished virtually, those clients, new clients, helping them, and they'll say things. Well, I just had to just ask Freeman, and so we had the opportunity to take our wares, the expertise, and help the clients during this COVID crisis here.
Sure.
And we just moved virtually, and we have, it looked like after starting this show, prior to the virtual, prior to COVID-19, then it expanded. More and more people need my help.
They do.
And that is great. And I like to start off by the number of married couples now that are preparing for retirement. And the thing is one spouse that is coming out now and the other continues to work.
Boy, Freeman, let me ask you about that, because what happens in that situation where, like you mentioned, one spouse retires, right? So they're sleeping till, let's say, 10 a.m., noon. Just saying.
Yes,
and
indeed.
So what if the other spouse is still working and getting up and going through the motions of everyday life and what was normal for them? But, all of a sudden, if one spouse retires, both lives change.
It
right?
does. You assume different roles. Your personal routines have to be adjusted. Personally, I've experienced that. My wife has been retired over 12 years, and she was a registered nurse and had a very, very busy profession and very responsible profession. And all of a sudden, there's an adjustment between us.
Yeah.
Financially.
Yeah.
Okay. Psychologically.
Sure.
All righty. I'm blessed that I can be here on the show. Alrighty. And that it didn't bother me, not too much, that now she's retired and she's assumed her role still as a spouse and do what she likes. We have children and grandchildren, and she participates in her personal matters. And one adjustment is that she was a co-host with me on radio and TV.
Yay.
So she was able to step in and she adjusted well.
Yeah.
Okay. And it didn't disrupt our relationship at all.
Yeah.
We just taken in stride. And so we can share. All you got to do is just ask Freeman. We can share how we have helped couples with good counsel to talk about how the impact or when one spouse retires, what impact does it have on the relationship? And
exactly.
roles and duties do change, okay? All right.
Absolutely. What about budgets, though, Freeman? Do budgets need to change? Should we talk about that this morning?
Exactly. One of the things that we talked about I think on the last segment or the last show, we talked about how to reduce credit card debt, made sure that our credit was in good order, all righty. And most important, like I said, credit card debt, reduce debt. We don't need to be mired in debt when we retire. And you have one spouse that is retired now, right?
Sure.
Suppose that person is a spendthrift. Okay. That can be devastating to the working spouse.
Sure.
And if that's a spendthrift that was contributing to the household with their finances, and all of a sudden, those funds aren't there, they have been reduced. That teeters the house with that budget. It teeters the quality of life to be somewhat reduced. So you have to have a serious talk. I mean, really good talk with your better half. And then you need a person like me, just ask Freeman, to sit down and talk to you about your finances. What you gonna, have you planned for Social Security? What are you going to do about your income producing assets? Is that enough? Are you going to work part-time? All right. And again, as I mentioned, your routines have to be adjusted.
Sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, obviously we've talked about, your personal routines need to be adjusted as well, because retirement for one spouse changes actually life for both, as we've already mentioned. But let's talk about a little bit in the Social Security aspect, Freeman. What happens at that point with Social Security benefits when one spouse retires, the other doesn't? What kind of advice do you have on that?
When you talk to me about your Social Security benefits, let's say once we do that budget, and there's a wage gap maybe, if let's say one spouse is 60 years old,
okay,
and know that there's 2 years to go before the first eligibility age 62. And then there's a possibility you can wait to full retirement age 66. Or maybe wait to age 70 and get a 32% increase over the full retirement age benefit you receive.
Okay.
That's crucial.
Sure.
Because what can happen is that if, let's say, one spouse says, well, I'm going to take my Social Security at 62. That's a 30% reduction for life. Now, have we done enough to adjust our budget to accommodate already a substantial decrease in wages? Well, just ask Freeman. We've got to make sure that we cover that gap.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
That impacts. What if one spouse is retired, applied for Social Security benefits,
Okay.
and then passed?
Oh, wow.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. That changes the whole
That changed the
trajectory
whole-
for the other spouse, because it also changes the way that you would have to file, because all of a sudden you file as a single person, correct, Freeman?
That's right. And then you're looking at spousal benefits.
Yeah.
Or survivor benefits. I'm sorry. So the whole dynamics can change. So it's always, I believe in preparation.
Okay.
Okay. Preparation. You want to know? Just ask Freeman.
Great segue to the phone lines, because, Freeman,
Alrighty.
guess what? It's time for us to go to the viewers. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this. Yes,
To our
indeed.
viewers at home, we have 10 complimentary consultations available this week. The consultations are going to take place virtually. You can be in the comfort of your home. Freeman will be in the comfort of his office as well. You can actually see each other and talk about what your plans are for retirement. Freeman will have a way to give you peace of mind that you're able able to sleep at night. The retirement years should not be scary. They should be a time where you can just relax and enjoy life, have peace of mind, knowing that no matter what happens around you, you are perfectly safe. Again, we say just ask Freeman, and we say that for a reason. Freeman has the answers. 10 complimentary consultations are available. The number to call is 833-414-7233. We'll be right back momentarily.
All righty.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to Just Ask Freeman TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Freeman Owen Jr. He's the CEO of Financial Sources Incorporated, better known as Just Ask Freeman.
Just Ask Freeman. Thank you for the accolades there, or just bringing us into a focus on how we can help those who have more or less one spouse has stepped out.
Sure.
And there's things that we have to make sure that are in place. We don't forget health insurance.
Very important.
That is so important because we see healthcare costs increasing.
Sure.
And it keeps on increasing. And so we have to make sure that we have funds available to offset the cost or the costly increase of our health insurance. Something else too, reducing risk. It's very important to protect monies that is already accumulated. You do not, it is very difficult. We talked about on the show one time how a few months ago, volatility carried the income producing assets down 31%. That's kind of hard to recover that.
Absolutely.
And so timing, making sure that you have a plan for Social Security. Now, it's up to the husband and wife now to discuss the psychological impact on the relationship when one steps out, because there's a lot of factors.
Sure.
One was reduction in income.
Absolutely.
Did one leave the other spouse with funds in more of a volatile account? And the mistakes along the way of applying for Social Security. Okay. Well, what do you think, Cindy, we should do? Just ask Freeman.
Just ask Freeman.
Exactly. And one more thing I'd like to toss in there. I think you mentioned it the other on one show. You said, why not consider a Roth conversion or a spousal IRA?
Absolutely.
Well, if a couple lands in a lower tax bracket because of the loss of one's income, it might be worthwhile to convert some of the traditional 401k or IRA savings to the Roth account.
Okay.
That's why I like to offer to our viewing audience, they're considering this conversion.
Okay.
Our text is 10 IRA mistakes and how to avoid the tax traps that are part of it.
It's a great book, by the way, Freeman. Excellent.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. So a Roth conversion, And what we must do now is to make sure that we don't make an error to convert that traditional IRA into a Roth IRA, where a Roth, after 5 years, the distributions are all tax-free.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to know how to convert your Roth or spousal IRA, and you want to fall into a lower tax bracket because of the loss of one's income who have separated from service, just ask Freeman. That's all you have to do. And it might be worthwhile to convert some of your traditional IRA or savings to a Roth IRA.
Sure, absolutely, because a lot of people have questions about that. Obviously, there's so many topics about just, is it an easy conversion if they decide to do that, Freeman? Is it an easy process that they go through?
No.
Okay.
Because that was very, very succinct.
No.
What happened is that here's the problem. You have a $100,000 traditional IRA. You want to convert that to a Roth. You say, well, this will put me in a lower tax bracket, and I don't have to take required minimum distributions if I convert this Roth.
Okay.
And all the distributions are tax-free. Well, let's say you're in a 25% tax bracket. Let's dip into that traditional IRA, that $100,000 IRA, and I made it for brevity's sake and simple.
Okay.
We take $25,000 of taxable income out of the traditional IRA. Well, that's subject to taxation, the $25,000 distribution.
Okay.
For a $75,000 Roth IRA. So if you want a solution on how to properly convert a traditional IRA, just ask Freeman and get a copy of the text, the 10 IRA mistakes, and how to avoid the tax traps that are associated with it. Okay.
Absolutely.
So this is becoming more and more fun, because these questions are, as we move into, I want to discuss more of Social Security too.
Okay, sure. A lot of topics are actually around that right now. A lot of conversations, Freeman. People are wondering, when do they take their Social Security benefits? What is the magic age? Is there a perfect age to do so? So please, let's talk a little bit more about that.
Here's where that we can take our Social Security benefits after working as little as 10 years.
Okay.
Now, usually it's 35 years.
Okay.
40 quarters. And we can start as early as age 62.
Okay.
Okay, that's major. Or as late as eligibility age 70. Okay, so the benefit amount is based on 35 years and the highest earning years. So if you work for fewer years, there's a lot of zeros there. Okay. That could be average. And since your benefit is based on average in your highest earning years, the more you earn, the higher your benefit.
Okay.
But the caveat is there's a cap. Okay. You work longer. Now, let me tell you about the cap. Social Security benefits are usually predicated on the prior year income. And then there's a cap of the tax on Social Security, because we pay Medicare and Social Security tax.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, some folks like to know, I guess, what if I work just as little as 10 years? How am I eligible to receive Social Security benefits? Just ask Freeman.
That's all you have to do.
That's all you have to do. Some of us may want to work longer.
Okay.
All righty. And what do you think, Cindy? So you know what we do when we do that Social Security report there, so that a person will know when to file and how to file for their Social Security. The reason I spend time on that, because it's critical.
Can you hold that thought, Freeman?
I hold it as usual.
Only because we have to go to the phones again, and we only have 5 spots left. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go right to the viewing audience.
Go right.
To the viewing audience at home, we have 5 complimentary consultations waiting for you. All you have to do is just pick up the phone. Freeman is offering you the opportunity to meet with him virtually. You can do so in the comfort of your home. Freeman will be in his office. You can actually connect via Zoom, if you will. Basically, just have him review what you currently have in place. Is it the right retirement plan for you? Do you have peace of mind to sleep comfortably for years to come? Freeman can make sure that you have that that very important component there, that peace of mind. Again, the number to call is 833-414-7233. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break with more questions and answers. Just ask Freeman.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place, then help determine if you are well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision. So why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you are getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to Just Ask Freeman TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Freeman Owen Jr. He is CEO of Financial Sources Incorporated, better known as Just Ask Freeman.
Just Ask Freeman. If you want to know, I'm going to do a little segue here. Social Security doesn't have to be complicated. The more you know about the ins and outs,
Sure.
it can make it even better. And we were talking about in the last segment, what happens when a spouse separates from service and the other's working? What is the impact? Then we looked at the timing of Social Security. What role does it play? Do you sign up for spousal benefits? May be eligible. Just ask Freeman if you want to know. If you're at least 62 years old and have a child in your care, you may get 50% of the other spouse's benefit.
Okay.
These little things. What if there's a often overlook the importance of Social Security when both parties are in a divorce. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
I tell you, it can claim spousal benefits based on the other spouse's Social Security earnings.
Okay.
Providing that you haven't remarried before the age of 60. Okay, all righty. And you can also receive spousal benefits while working.
Okay.
Say both spouses earn about the same amount of money and one retires. They can get their Social Security benefits and is at full retirement age, and the other spouse can claim benefits by what we call a restricted application, which is more or less fading out. There's a special age. And you're born in order to take advantage of a restricted application to receive half of the other Social Security, half of the other of the spouse's, the other spouse's Social Security. That is faded out. I could share a little bit more than that. We could talk about that a little later. What if you're retired and you are dependent, under the age of 19? Because there are young people, they're entitled up to 50% of your benefit. If you're widowed or divorced and remarry someone younger with children. See, there's a lot of ins and outs of this, Cynthia, when it comes to Social Security. That Social Security plays a major role with your income-producing assets that we have, such as your 401k, your TSP, your 403b, all those employer-sponsored retirement accounts. And you need a professional. You need someone that knows the ins and outs of Social Security, understand your income-producing assets, know the type of path to take to make sure your assets are safe.
Absolutely.
Predictable income. Right there every month, every year, every decade. An income that you can't possibly outlive. And folks, if you want to know, just ask Freeman. Can I add something else, one more thing, and then
please.
All right. We talked about predictable income. There are ways of which we have guaranteed lifetime income
Okay.
without the volatility. How we can help with your, and I emphasize your employer-sponsored retirement accounts so that you avoid costly mistakes,
Okay.
such as when you take distributions, there are, major withholding from the employer-sponsored retirement accounts. That impacts your retirement. And so I consider myself a person that knows how to help you avoid these costly mistakes. So you need my book, The 10 IRA Mistakes and How to Avoid the Tax Traps. I think that coincides nicely with what you offer to the first 10 or
First
15
10 callers.
the callers.
Absolutely.
Yes. I love it. I really appreciate what you do. It makes it so easy and nice to work with someone that understands what our viewers need too.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you,
indeed.
Freeman.
You ask and you receive these great emails and questions. You prepare yourself. All I got to do is just say, just ask Freeman.
Just ask Freeman.
That's it. If you
Because
want to
what
know.
it comes down to, Freeman, is that everyone wants to have that peace of mind approaching retirement. It shouldn't be a time where there's any sort of angst or discomfort. It should be so easy. And so basically what I appreciate about working with you so much is that you're able to provide that peace of mind. You actually listen to each and every client that you work with, and they feel very happy and very blessed to know you. So that's a wonderful gift.
Yeah, that's awesome, because you know what I often say to some of my peers. I say, you got to love this, because folks can look and tell if you're really doing those plans for their best interest.
Yeah.
They look right at you. This guy for real?
Yeah.
Is he dealing with my best interest? Uh-oh, the clock on the wall is telling me something.
Freeman,
Every
we're
time.
almost out of time again. I don't know how this goes so fast.
Well, when you're having fun, time just moves on.
It totally flies when you're having fun. Freeman,
Exactly.
thank you so much for another wonderful show. To the viewing audience at home, thank you again for spending time with us this week. The number to call is 833-414-7233. You have questions about retirement? Just ask Freeman. He has the answers for you. Take care and be blessed.
All right.